Hello everyone. Today we'll be learning how to take our scans from our TX8 and import them into RealWorks to get our point cloud. If you had followed the instructions carefully on how to set up and properly scan using the Trimble TX8, you should have a directory with your project name and .rwi along with a RealWorks project file with the same project name. The directory will contain all of the scans that you have processed through the TX8. Wherever you move these files, make sure to keep the RealWorks project file together with the file folder .rwi. These are usually referenced together, so try to avoid moving them. You can now either open your RealWorks project file or open RealWorks and select the import button on the upper left-hand corner. If you do not see your scans in the workspace on the left side of your screen, hit the import button once again and make sure to import that directory into RealWorks as well. After importing all of your raw data from your Trimble TX8 scanner, the first thing you're going to want to do is register your scans. All scans coming from a TX8 will be able to be registered automatically, assuming you've had enough overlap between your scans. If you have taken the micro-credential for the TX8 with us, you should be able to scan with enough overlap in order to make this registration process smooth and simple. Once you are ready to register, on the top menus, go ahead and navigate to the Registration tab. Here you'll find all commands associated with registration. The one that we're going to want to use for our TX8 is Auto Register Using Planes. Once you have selected the Auto Register Using Planes tab, you will get an auto register menu that pops up on the front of your screen. Here you will see all of your reference station. If their station icon is blue, that means you had properly leveled your station prior to scanning. The TX8 and RealWorks require at least one station to be level and use that as your base. It's good practice to level each time you're doing a scan, but if you're doing a very large area and do not have time to level, make sure that your base station is at least level in order to properly line up your scans. From the drop-down menu that says Reference Station, here you're going to want to pick the main station that RealWorks will use as your auto register plane. Again, you want to make sure that this plane is level. At this point, you can see that all of our stations are in the blue, so we can technically use whichever one we want. We'll go ahead and start with Station 1 to keep it simple. You have an optional checkbox to select that will generate a preview scan. This usually takes a lot longer, but if you want to see your scan before extracting it, you would like to click this box and you will get a nice rendered preview of what your point cloud looks like right after registration. From this point on, we are now ready to start our auto registration sequence. Once you select start and your scans begin to register, this will take the longest out of your entire sequence of registering scans into RealWorks. With one scan, depending on the level of density that the photons captured, it'll usually take anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes. Add 10 minutes to each scan that you plan on registering. This registration process here with all of these scans took about 45 minutes. Once your registration is complete, you will get a registration report pop-up that will show up on the middle of your RealWorks screen. This will give you the overall cloud-to-cloud error, as well as the error and coincident points between each station. Here's where you can really fine-tune and realize where you went wrong or how well your first base station setup was. If you added enough overlap in between your station setup, your coincident points should be usually above 50% and your confidence is going to be well over 90% as well. As you can see here, our overall error was only 3.16 millimeters. Depending on your application, this may be perfectly acceptable, or maybe you'll have to set up and redo your scans. From this point forward, you can now close this menu or save it as a rich text format if you wish to use it for future reference. Once you close this menu, you will now see that generated preview that we had checked the box for previously. If you did not check that box, you will not see this preview on screen and you would have to wait till the next step in order to see your point cloud. I am navigating my 3D view using the middle mouse button or scroll wheel click to pan my image, and a left mouse button click to rotate around my object. You can toggle on and off your stations as well as your station labels by checking or unchecking the station box and station label name on the middle left side of your screen. Now we will move on to limit box extraction. The goal here is to create a bounding box around your point cloud in order to extract the points that you want. This will keep your file light and your object no bigger than it needs to be, as well as getting rid of unwanted artifacts from your scans such as streets or neighboring buildings. Once you select the limit box extraction button, you will see a few menus pop up. One menu will say limit box extraction. Here you can select different options for resizing your limit box as well as selecting the sampling type. For more detail, you want to select sampling by step and select the amount of steps you wish to go by. One will pretty much sample everything. The higher the number, the less detail you will get. Spatial sampling as well as spatial sampling keep details will sample only the necessary points of your cloud in order to recreate your object, but a lot of the detail will be lost if you're looking at a high density scan. The next thing you're going to want to do is select where you want your limit box to start. I usually select somewhere in the center of the model that I'm going to try to encapsulate. Once you click on your model, a pre-sized limit box will appear. You can see that everything outside of the limit box gets cropped off and everything remains inside the limit box. You can now use the tabs to resize the box to whatever size you prefer. If you need to rotate your box, you will need to go back to the limit box extraction menu and click on the rotate button in order to rotate the box to your liking. You can then select the axis that you wish to rotate over. Similar to the arrows to resize the box, you will click and hold and move your mouse to rotate. Once you are happy with your limit box, you can either hit the enter key or the extract button in the limit box extraction menu in order to finally extract your point cloud. This will take some time, similar to the auto registration, but by the time it's done, you will see your point cloud that you extracted via extraction box in your workspace as an object.